Welcome to the Entrepreneur Podcast, where we take a look inside the lives of the accomplished and successful businessmen and women. We'll get up close and personal with the founders of booming startups. So lean in and prepare to carry away something to skyrocket your own business. Please subscribe to our show and do leave us a review. It means a lot to us. Now, here's your host, Rajiv.
Hey listeners, welcome to the Entrepreneur Talk Show. I'm your host Rajiv Unikrishnan, and this is the show where we talk about entrepreneurship and speak to great founders, entrepreneurs and investors. Today we have with us Sunera Karyappa, founder at The Ultimate Toolkit and also the owner and principal designer at Feel Good Design. Welcome, Sunera.
Hi.
So the Ultimate Toolkit is based on an idea to create a social innovation platform as a process of social interactions and design thinking between individuals to reach certain outcomes.
Right.
A bit about Sunera: she holds a master's degree in design from the School of Design, Hong Kong. She has been working in the creative design industry since 2011 and has worked across a range of different verticals. Again, welcome to the show, Sunera. Do fill in the gaps, if any, in the intro, and do let us know what's going on in your world today.
Sure. I've recently been funded from a government, so I've been also given a workspace at the School of Design, which is great. So I'm sitting there, and I'm not sure if you know about this building, but it's one of those very futuristic, Star Trekky looking buildings in the middle of a university. So lovely weather from here. So that's what's basically where I am right now.
So before we get into work, first, any passions outside of work?
It would have to be movies, watching movies and TV shows.
Okay.
I'm a big geek, so I'm currently watching Designated Survivor, and I'm waiting for the next episode to come out.
Okay.
And apart from that, I love writing. I keep a journal, and
Great.
that's my passion.
So how did the Ultimate Toolkit start? I mean, where did the idea come from?
Like you said about my background, I've been a designer, first a graphic design, but design has been, at the core of everything I've done. And when I was doing my master's here in Hong Kong, I wanted to do something with communities and design. A design can solve anything, kind of an attitude. Towards some of the world's largest problems needs to be adopted. I'm sure you agree with this, but our generation no longer responds to traditional systems or sermons.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a need of design, there's a need of creativity in various societal sectors. And so that basically stemmed the idea for me to use design for a social cause.
Okay. And what would the vision be ultimately for the toolkit?
So the vision would be to expand this framework to different ages, so a younger audience, to schools, to colleges, because that is where issues like harassment or discrimination starts from.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the bigger goal, to use the same framework for other issues, bullying, harassment, discrimination, or different ages.
All right. So did you start this on your own or any co-founders with you?
It's actually just me.
Okay.
By myself. It does get lonely, but honestly, I do prefer that I've had the courage to do this by myself, and that's been I've been really lucky to have great mentors to guide me along the way.
Great. All right. So so how does the entire product work?
Okay. Good question. So what I do is basically provide innovative workshops for policy making in companies.
Okay.
Each company has a responsibility to their employees, to have a policy, whether it's in to protect them from harassment or discrimination or gender equality. they have a legal requirement to have this. But what's existing right now in the market is, a one-sided conversation where employees are not involved at all. It's a
Yep.
legal, it's an issue of legal and compliance. So that's where the toolkit is a bit disruptive, and we are trying to, get the employees to make their own policies, get them to say what's okay and what's not okay in their office. And we're doing that through design thinking activities, which will enable them to empathize with the issues better.
Okay. So how does, I mean, when you say design thinking, is how does design come into this play?
Okay, so what design thinking is, basically using a different thinking method to existing business models or existing traditional ways of doing things. So by design thinking, what I just mean is that we take a very creative approach towards the activities that we get the employees to do.
Yeah.
It enhances collaboration amongst the employees. So it's not just one-sided conversation, like I said, but it's not just the employee doing this within themselves. They are involved with other employees. They work as a group, so they work in collaboration with each other for a common goal. And that's basically what design thinking, the design thinking workshop does.
And you're right now only in Hong Kong.
Right, we're only in Hong Kong, but of course, if there is a company in Singapore or India who is wanting to get this workshop conducted, then we would go there to do that.
So since you just started, do you approach companies or they approach you?
Companies or NGO, you said?
No. So do companies approach you, or you go out into the market to kind of spread the word?
No, it's completely me doing that right now.
All right.
Because of the novelty of the product.
Correct.
So it has to start with me first.
And is this completely social or any revenue attached for you or the
No,
company?
absolutely. It's a revenue model.
Okay.
So we are not focusing on being an NGO. And it comes from experience in doing things for free, but that leaves you no money
Of course.
continue the stage process, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you're launched, if I'm correct, you're launched on Indiegogo on March 2017, right?
Right.
And so was
yeah,
the
sorry.
did the campaign end on March 1st or did it start on March 1st?
So it started in March, and it's actually a really good point that you brought up, because this is a good learning case study for everyone who's listening. We completely failed in our Indiegogo campaign.
Okay.
It just ended, a week back, I think. There were a lot of things I learned from doing this. So I would suggest all startups to start early rather than later.
Yeah.
There's no enough preparation you can do for something like this unless you actually just start it.
Of course.
And I wish someone had told me that sooner, because because then my product is completely B2B, and crowdfunding campaigns like Kickstarter and Indiegogo do not support that, or if they do,
Correct.
it's really, really hard to work on a B2B product. And so that was my learning, and I don't regret it. I wouldn't do it again. I'm thankful.
Okay. So the government funding happened during this time?
It happened before this. Yeah,
Okay.
we got a seed fund from a government organization in Hong Kong.
So after you got the fund, you went on Indiegogo.
Yeah. Because there are two revenue models to this to my business. One is, of course, a product, which is, it can be sold and anyone anywhere can purchase and conduct this workshop. But then there are these actual conducting workshops which happen in Hong Kong. So for the product, for the basis of the product, we went on Indiegogo just to see, what the market would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for conducting the workshops, that's where you got the seed funding.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Great. So, I mean, what were the challenges you faced, of course, other than the uh, failure on Indiegogo? I mean, what are the other challenges you faced starting up? I know Hong Kong is a good market to start.
Right. Yeah. So Hong Kong's a great, good place to start, no doubt. And there's enough support and advice and mentorship and funding that you can get. But there is and even starting getting the business registered as well is easy. It
Yeah,
took me
yeah.
20 minutes. I'm not kidding. But where this takes a backfall is opening a bank account in Hong Kong. And they
Okay.
recently changed the laws last year because there were quite a few fraud cases
Correct.
that surfaced. So it became increasingly hard for a startup to open a bank account. And the criteria for me getting funding was to have a Hong Kong bank account. So it was almost you can't continue with one without the other. And most of the banks I went to wanted to see a profit of $500,000
Wow.
already. Yeah, and that's obviously not what a startup is.
Absolutely. Yep.
So that was a bit of um, a difficulty
Okay. So
in Hong Kong.
you started this straight out of university?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, honestly, I started after university. I looked for jobs, tried to do that,
uh
and I wasn't getting anywhere, and realized that I was getting a lot of consulting projects on a freelance basis, and so that's how Feel Good Design came into the making, because I realized it was much easier to work as a consultant in Hong Kong rather than a full-time job.
got it.
And I love my flexibility, and realized that I'd already got the research done for this project.
Yep.
Why don't I just make it a business?
Okay.
And then I started applying for funding and
Okay.
so on and so
So that answers my question is when did you know you were meant for entrepreneurship? Okay.
forth.
And over time, who would you say has inspired you?
um, okay. At the cost of sounding like a narcissist, I would say it's myself, because
That's the first time I've got to answer like this in all my 107 shows. Okay.
yeah, because honestly, you are your biggest risk, and you're even bigger influencer if you want to be. Inspirational people will come and go,
Yeah.
but you are dealing with your startup yourself every day, and if you don't constantly inspire yourself, then no one can help you.
Absolutely. And what's some of the best advice you have been given?
Um, it would be that respect people the way you want to be respected. That's my dad.
Good. Okay.
It's always said that.
And any launch or activity coming up which is getting you and the team really excited?
So something that just happened this week was that we're tying up with the Equal Opportunities Commission in Hong
Okay.
Kong, and these guys are the holy grail of training and workshops
Oh,
for
great.
corporates.
Okay.
So any sort of case, it goes to the EOC in any country. So we are trying to collaborate with them and see how the toolkit could help them and the companies in Hong Kong. So that would be
Great.
yeah.
And where do you see yourself and your business in the next 2 to 3 years?
Um, I see the business going to a younger audience, definitely. That is something I really, really am excited to, the market I'm excited to penetrate. This issue of, bullying is so relevant today.
Yep.
At a younger audience, and I think the market is huge. There are 2,000 secondary schools in Hong Kong, and they could really, really benefit from a fun workshop like this. So
Got it.
that would be my 2-year plan.
Okay. So now we come to a part of the show which is a quick fire round. All right. Simple,
Okay.
brief answers.
Okay, awesome.
So when people ask you, what do you do? How do you answer that?
Okay, this is a really good question because no one understands what I do. I'm telling you, I've got so many blank faces because, I've been a design researcher, I've been a design strategist, and people are like, what does that mean?
Okay.
So I keep changing my answers. I like to, just see the look on their faces. I sometimes go with, I'm a graphic designer if I think, the conversation is not going anywhere. But if I want to have a bit of fun, I say, I conduct design thinking workshops, so that just gets the conversation going.
All right, great.
Yeah.
So, what's the first word that comes to mind when I say work?
Aholic,
Family,
balance,
entrepreneurship,
drive,
technology,
overhyped,
food,
um, huh. Sorry, I'm going blank here, but
That's perfectly okay.
food would be
Anything.
anything. Let's go with anything.
Okay. And book.
Time.
All right. What's one piece of tech that you can't live without?
My Surface Pro.
Oh, okay. What do you excel at that people might not realize?
I have multiple personalities, and that's sometimes a good thing, believe it or not.
Okay.
It helps me professionally.
And what is something you believe in that other people think is insane?
That working through the night is better than working during the day.
All right. And your favorite city globally?
Melbourne.
Oh, great. Finally, one last thought, a piece of advice that you want to give our listeners, Sunara?
I'd like to say that there's no dearth of information out there for anyone who wants it or any help to anyone who wants. And I'm always willing to give other people or other growing startups advice. So they can contact me anytime. I'll always make time for them.
Okay, great. Actually, I have a friend of mine in the US who does global workshops for bullying. I should get you all in touch with each other, actually.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, that would
Okay.
okay.
And let our listeners know how they can reach you and also get more info of the Ultimate Toolkit.
So they can always go to our Facebook page and send us a message there. We're constantly checking those, but also you can send us a mail at info@theultimatetoolkit.co. Yeah.
All right. Again, Sunara, thanks for taking the time to talk to us and inspiring our listeners to start their own ventures, and all the very best at building feel-good design and also the Ultimate Toolkit.
Thank you so much, Rajiv. Had a great time.
Do visit theultimatetoolkit.co and visit us at theasianentrepreneur.com to get the show notes and subscribe to our show on all the platforms. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. In the meantime, head over to theasianentrepreneur.com and check out show notes and other information to motivate you in your entrepreneurial endeavors.